I remembered my password. This is the longest gap between videos that I have taken since I started this whole YouTube thing 6 years ago, which is insane. And I do apologize for my unannounced absence, but I have a pretty good reason. First of all, this is a new studio. I moved, and every time that happens, I always think it's gonna be a lot easier than it actually ends up being, and it takes way longer to get set up and running than I ever would have imagined. But probably the biggest piece of news that has been partially the reason for my absence is I found out that I'm gonna be a dad. What an insane concept. It doesn't feel real. I mean, it's feeling more and more real every day. You guys, like, I'm gonna have a little girl. How insane is that? I'm absolutely stoked. My wife, Leanne, is doing great. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a lot of people that are surprised that I wasn't a dad beforehand, because I feel like a lot of you have pointed out that I give off dad energy, or maybe teacher energy, I don't even know. I've never taught in a school, I've never been a parent, but here we are anyways. So if I could ask you for absolutely anything, it would be A, your forgiveness that I've kind of unannounced been gone for this long, but B, maybe some words of encouragement for Leanne down in the comments below. She's doing an absolute hell of a job, and I know she's gonna be an awesome mom, but if you're a parent or if you're a mother, I'm sure she would love to see your input as well. So I hope it's okay that, it's been a minute, but I wanna get back to it. And actually, I wanna talk about something that was really interesting during the time that I was just focused on, I was focused on the move, I was focused on building a new studio, and I was focused on this family that we're apparently building. And it's just so, wow, still can't get over it. Anyways, but something really interesting happened on the music front as well, and that was, for the first time in, I don't even know how long, 20-something years probably, I had a little stretch of a period where I wasn't really thinking about music on a professional level. I didn't have any gigs, I didn't perform, I wasn't making videos for a number of weeks, and that hasn't happened in a really long time. And so my music consumption during this past couple of months has been really kind of interesting. But as a result, I've discovered things that I feel like I never would have discovered otherwise. Things that I am just so excited to talk to you about. So excited to A, share with you if you're not familiar already, or B, break down in the near future and show you how things are constructed in genres that I wouldn't have found myself in. And today, I want to talk about one influence in particular that I cannot get enough of this artist. And it might come out of left field for some of you, and for others, you might be like, yeah, that makes complete sense. I would totally expect you'd be into that. But do you guys know much bluegrass? Because I have been listening to Billy Strings, and oh my God, I've just been completely and utterly blown away in the absolute best way possible, and I'm so excited to talk about it with all of you.
I ain't slept 7 days, heaven 83. Methamphetamine has got a damn good hold of me. My tweaking friends have got me to the point of no return. I just took the lighter to the bulb and watched it burn. This life is
oh yeah, the fiddle? Come on.
Well, it's got me back in prison once again. I used my only phone call to contact my daddy. Got 20 long years for some dust in a baggie.
Oh, and I mean, on top of everything that I want to talk about musically, Billy is an incredible songwriter. I mean, and this is one of the things I think is so great about bluegrass is the stories, right? And that's, yes, all music, all genres they all have this, but is there not something about bluegrass that just gives you this feeling of like, there's just something deep about it in terms of like the storytelling? And I mean, that's really where it comes from, right? And because of that, the music has always been pretty simple. Now, I say simple strictly from a harmonic standpoint, because I do not want to minimize for a second the absolute incredible musicality that's happening here. But I think even any bluegrass musician would tell you that a lot of that intense, brilliant musicality doesn't necessarily come from harmonic complexity, which is a lot of what I love about jazz. It's a lot of what we talk about on this channel. Instead, in bluegrass, what I find to be the absolute most incredible thing about the musicianship is the sheer connectivity, the time, the groove. This stuff grooves in a way that to me is like the same exact thing as really great swing in jazz. It's just a different context. Oh. Oh, come on. Okay, I could play that whole track, but my point here is listen to how similar.
I ain't slept 7 days, haven't eaten 3. Methamphetamine has got a damn good hold of me.
Like, I know they're completely different genres, but do you see what I'm saying? How, like, there's such a similarity to me with just the groove. You want to talk about in the pocket. Like, both of those examples are incredibly in the pocket in different ways, but man, if they don't both have a very similar quality of just outright groove in the best way. I can't think of any other word to describe it. It's just so insanely good. And we haven't even gotten to how unbelievable at the guitar Billy is. And at first I really hesitated to kind of dig into the connections with jazz, because one thing I don't want to do is be like, oh, that's jazz, this is it. Because, like, you know, if you're a bluegrass musician, you're probably like, no, that's bluegrass. And I completely get that. For me, when I put things in the context of jazz, usually that's just because that's sort of what I'm most familiar with, and I'm really able to kind of make connections to my own experiences in that sense. But it's not like bluegrass got its groove from jazz. Of course, that's not what it is. I just happen to see so many similarities, but I actually decided to, you know what? I feel like I can talk about this maybe a little more, because if you watched Rick Beato's amazing interview with Billy, that was actually recently, what was that, a month ago? In it, I couldn't believe when I heard Billy talk about working on jazz, and that it actually has had an impact on his compositional style and his playing.
You know, little jazz and stuff. And
Yeah.
He talks about learning Donna Lee. Not an easy head by any stretch of the imagination, but he even points out that it had an impact on another one of his compositions.
And then I came up with this tune called Escanaba. So that little part right there.
Yeah.
You know, it was because I had learned Donna Lee
I
recently.
hear the da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Now, when I heard him say this, I was blown away, because I was like, I listened to this tune, and I was like, this sounds like it literally could be the melody to like a bebop tune. Yeah, I mean, come on. Listen to that. Woo! I mean, there's so much in here that when I heard it, I was like, wow, that just really sounds like a bebop head, because it's Donna Lee, or at least it's the influence that Billy took from learning something like Donna Lee. So seeing Rick's interview, if you haven't watched Rick's interview, go watch it. It's fantastic, like all of Rick's interviews. But seeing that, I was just like, you know what? My suspicions have been confirmed. I thought I was hearing a lot in Billy's music that I feel like I don't usually hear in bluegrass. And that's not to say that there's not incredible bluegrass. And in fact, one of the things I do want to talk about is how the simplicity of bluegrass, I think, is one of its huge strengths. But Billy in particular, I've just heard so many things in so many of his songs where I'm like, this feels different than a lot of maybe traditional bluegrass. And I'm not well versed in the bluegrass genre and culture as a whole. I've always really liked it as a genre. I love the groove of it, and I love, for all the reasons I've mentioned, the similarities to jazz, at least in my own sort of interpretation, how I'm hearing it. But I've always heard it as this, like, not something that you would go to for a lot of harmonic complexity. And Billy Strings is completely blowing that out of the water for me. What? Are you serious? that. How cool is that? Oh yeah. That backbeat on the mandolin. I actually love that bluegrass doesn't have drums. Anytime I've ever heard drums added to bluegrass, it kind of ruins it. And I love the drums, right? But this is just something where the instruments that are traditional in bluegrass, you have the fiddle, you have the guitar, you have the mandolin, you have the bass, you have the banjo, right? They all create the percussion. They don't need any percussion. It's all in there, right? And you can hear it in the mandolin right there. I mean, that just intro alone, the line. What? How cool is that? There's so much in here. I mean, I could go on for days, maybe, and I might make a video breaking down some of these actual things because of Okay. Wow. Great singer, great songwriter, phenomenal guitar player. I mean, dude's got it all. It's absolutely incredible. And I have just been digging into this so hard, but it's something that I don't know if I was just in the regular swing of like finding music to make content about and teach music theory for you guys. Like, I don't know if this is something that would have come across me and I would have taken the time to really dive into, but having a little bit of this time where like I haven't really been looking at music as like everything I listen to is a search for something to potentially talk about, which that's not a bad thing because it helps me listen to music in a different way that has really been incredible for like finding new things. It's just, I don't know if this would have been one of those things that I spent a lot of time listening to, and now I have, and I'm just like, rather than listen to it, find the interesting things and break them down, I've just been like listening to his entire discography, and you find things that way. You find things that you wouldn't otherwise have, and maybe it brings up a larger point about how right now a lot of music is made for TikTok, right? And that's not, I'm not saying like, oh, everything's gone downhill. No, I'm just saying like that's just a matter of fact. Like people make music with the intention of a 5, 10, 15 second segment of it becoming a TikTok sound, and that's what will propel the song forward. It's a smart business decision. It's like, what if you're trying to make music, like it's a pretty smart way to go about it because that's kind of just where all the attention is. But the one thing that sometimes takes away is like, I feel like maybe there's an element of get an album of somebody's music and listen to the entire thing all the way through that doesn't happen that much right now. I won't even say like, oh, it doesn't happen anymore, because I don't want to be like, you know, in Rick Beato's own words, old man yelling at clouds. I just think right now we're at a time where like, that's not as common. And I have found myself as a result of being in here working on the set, I've just been putting on an album and just letting it play. And boy, the things that I've discovered that I'm really excited about, that I cannot wait to share more about with you. And it's not just Billy Strings, there's been other stuff I've been checking out too. And so I'm rip-roaring ready to go. I am so motivated beyond belief now with a child on the way. I can't even, that just doesn't even make any sense to say. There's so much stuff I want to do for all of you, and I'm really excited to dive into it. So I am back. We are so back, and I'm sorry I left, but I finally remembered my password. I remembered that, oh, hey, I'm gonna be a dad. Wow, that is such a, sorry, I'm gonna keep doing that. It's just so weird to say. But anyways, I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been excited about musically and elsewhere over the last couple of weeks, few weeks, more than a couple weeks, I suppose. But I'm back, I'm ready to go, and I cannot wait to share a bunch of stuff with you coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching this video. Please go check out Billy Strings, because yikes, if you haven't, it'll turn you on to bluegrass in a way that you probably never thought you would. I love it, you'll love it. Can't wait for you to check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.